If you happen to be a fundamentalist Christian, hardcore, real diehard, or even just a mild Christian, please don't watch this video. You are not going to like what I have to say. Okay, so I actually never thought that my first story time would be about something that I have not done in, I'd say, close to 14, 15 years, okay? And I would honestly say that that's probably the last time I was at a church, or I actually decided to go to church on a Sunday, you know, and sit all through that bullshit. Okay, alright. It's not going to be a long story time, but it's alright. What happened is that I recently connected with some new relatives, okay, and they invited me to actually come over and attend church with them. It was actually disguised as like a conference for women, largely, okay? So it would be, the majority of the audience would obviously be women, and they'll get people from various business sectors, and this is what was actually said at the beginning, okay? I was under the impression that at least it was going to be a real proper summit, okay? Like when you get CEOs and actual company directors and people who actually do stuff, okay? Coming to speak and lend their experiences, etc. Okay, so that would also be a great networking event. Anyway, so okay, I decided, okay, well, what could hurt? I mean, I haven't been to church for 14 years. Personally, religion-wise, my stance on religion is that I actually really don't believe in religion. I prefer to actually believe in a God or a supreme being or a creator, okay, who created everything, okay? But generally, you know, treat people the way you want to be treated as well, you know, be kind, be considerate, and don't harm anybody, you know. So that's my belief system, and I think also more and more I'm actually starting to identify largely with the Hindu religion, which is not what I like about Hinduism, okay, is that there's no set way, okay, but they've got some really basic great tenets to actually follow. That and Buddhism, okay, those are actually the type of religions that actually make sense to me. Not that I'll also follow them religiously, but the way that they've been structured, okay, it's pretty good and efficient and very wise, okay. Christianity, on the other hand, okay, now, if you live in South Africa, you'll notice that over the last 5 years, there's been a spate of these crooked-ass, narcissistic pastor prophets. Not all pastors are like this. There are pastors generally who actually are there to do the work. They really come in and help the community and do all positive stuff, and they actually make a tangible difference in their communities. Okay, so shout out to them, great job, keep doing the, you know, the good work, okay? But you'll find that often they make up about 3% of the whole Christian population, okay? The rest are rotten to the core, I tell you, rotten, okay? You know, if it's not child molestation charges, it's extortion and sexual abuse and, you know, having affairs with people's husbands and wives, etc., you know? And it's just, oh, it's horrendous. It just, You know, again, just like veganism, right? Often you'll find that hardcore militant vegans are the biggest problem when it comes to getting people to actually join the plant-based movement and veganism and vegetarianism, etc. In Christianity, the same applies. You know, these hardcore, dumbass Christians, okay, who don't question anything, they're just sponges, okay, that absorb whatever. And don't actually go and do their homework and read about what they're actually devoting their emotional and mental energy into, okay? Oh man, they are actually the biggest hindrance to Christianity, and I suppose that probably applies to all religions, okay? It's a little bit unfair to judge the acts of a few, yeah, on the many, etc., whatever that saying goes, but damn, Christianity has a track record, you know? You know, like, if it's not, if you don't go in there and, you know, and they give you the side eye and look at how you're dressed, you know, and, oh my word, you know, like, but anyway, right. Cut a long story short, I was invited to go to church with some relatives of mine. And okay, they meant well and everything, okay, and I thought it was just a woman's Sunday. That's what they told me, okay. I come along and I find that it's actually not that far from where I stay. It was in Hillcrest Center on Bears Nordia, yeah. So there's like a little building, there's like a spa downstairs, okay, and then you go, there's like a little, you know, room which is fairly large, okay, they had speakers and everything, tables, and I was like, wow, okay, right, maybe this was gonna be interesting, okay. So when we actually got there, it was fairly empty and nobody was really there, so I thought, okay, well, poor turnout, but maybe, yeah. So okay, they start playing music, they start their prayers, and again, Christians are very big in this whole thing of speaking in tongues. So, okay, now that happens and I sit there and I'm like, okay, right. Alright, so more and more, so obviously the music is playing and more people start to come in, okay. And yeah, there's singing and dancing. Another thing that I also note that a lot of people actually sing at church are really frustrated musician artists who never really made it. Ah, shame, they never really made it. So okay, they figured, okay, well, I never made it, I married too early and had kids, so I can't really pursue a music career. So you know what, I'll sing at church, you know. And yeah, they had this one lady was really good, she was awesome, you know, a very plump, beautiful lady with big curly hair. She was an amazing singer, okay. She was wearing this nice long skirt, you know. I'm like, this is great, you know, it's just women coming together, you know, to actually do, you know, great stuff for the community and to encourage women to get into business, you know. It's great, you know. All right. All right, so there's more singing, more people start to come in, okay. And then apparently the whole event was based around this lady who's an alleged prophetess. If a guy's a prophet, a woman is a prophetess. Okay. Now, I believe prophets and let me just put them all in the same bin. If you claim to be any type of prophet or prophetess, you're a fucking crook. Let me tell you just this right now, okay? Right? Okay? You know, people like that often, I feel that they play games with people. It's all mental and emotional manipulation, okay? And they often use people's problems as leverage to get money and extort money out of people, okay? And they lie. And all they do is just write somewhat intelligent guessing, okay? Right? You'll get people who actually have the gift to see into the future, or who are empaths or telepaths. They can see what's going on in your life and then they give you the advice that you need to cope, you know. And then you get these fucking crooks, they parade themselves as pastor, prophetess, etc. okay, right? They come in front of church, they're dressed very nicely, so they're very well presented, okay. So it sells that image that, wow, okay, this is somebody that I could trust, okay. And yeah, come in there and scream over the microphone, You know, and yeah, so I suppose this is what basically gets people riled up and enthusiastic, like, wow, this woman's really doing her work, you know, and she's walking up the stage, and you know, and then obviously people with their own, whatever they've basically come, you know, a lot of people are stressed, okay? A lot of people are stressed in life, and they have little to nothing or no tools whatsoever, or methods or strategies to deal with their problems, okay? So then they come to church, and it's largely housewives that are actually dependent on their husbands, okay? They come in there with their problems, the husband's cheating, we had another child outside their marriage, or whatever, they've been beat up, etc., you know, there's disagreements and all kinds of nonsense that they can't cope, so then they come to church, and after singing and rolling around and fainting, then they feel a little better, a load has actually been lifted, and then they go back home, but essentially they haven't really solved their problems, okay? So yeah, and then these women come to the front and they get prayed over, and then she comes and touches them on the forehead in a very aggressive manner. I'm thinking, you're gonna injure this woman. I'm sitting there like, yeah, somebody's really gonna get injured. But obviously they have chaperones and usheresses, okay, who catch them when they fall, and then she moves on to the next person. By the Holy Ghost, I bless you, Zap. But nothing actually really happens. It's just all in the mind, okay? And yeah, I just, oh man. And then she gets to some stage where she's like, you know what? Can I profit? Ladies, can I profit? Okay, so now that's basically her saying that now she's getting ready to do some really supernatural bullshit, okay? Like, I'm going to find somebody's going to come forward now, and I'm going to read you like a book, the way similarly like Teresa Caputo, the medium, does, okay? Disclaimer, Teresa Caputo is the real thing, by the way, okay? She's a real sangoma, okay? Right, and according to the Bible, sorcery, you know, going to a medium, going to somebody who can actually do fortune telling, you know, sangomas in our tradition, etc., healers, is bad, it's a sin. But somehow, prophets, when they foretell something, it's not. A hypocrisy match, you know? Alright, okay, so at some point she's like really riled up, and like, ladies, can I prophetize? Can I prophetize? I'm sitting thinking, like, I thought we were going to actually listen to some business leaders, okay? I was waiting to actually hear women who actually run companies, like how did they actually get the startup capital that they needed to run the company, and what steps did they take to actually really make it successful. I'm here for that. This is some fucked up church ceremony, and people are fainting all over the place, you know, and it's fake. And this woman's quoting Bible verses from the Bible, Old and New Testament, and I'm willing to bet that 90% of the time she actually doesn't have a real understanding of what the actual origins of the Christian religion, okay? How does it tie in with Judaism and Islam, okay? And, you know, Sumerian ancient texts and all of those things. Does she really know? She just... Well, anyways, okay, so she steadily says that, yeah, I want to call so-and-so, somebody of the name so-and-so, okay? So this poor lady comes forward and she's crying, and she says, I prophetize, and mind you, this woman is South African, but she's still speaking with a Nigerian accent. She's speaking with a Nigerian accent. She's South African, okay? And she claims that she was once upon a time a street child, okay? She was homeless, eating out of bins, etc. And then after a series of unfortunate events, eventually she found, you know, Christianity, and she's been fine ever since, okay? So, but I suspect that she probably married a Nigerian pastor, okay? Probably put her on this bullshit road. But anyways, okay. This woman comes forward and she's crying, and you know, several examples of this. Women basically come and then she does this guessing, like, I believe you bought land. You bought land and somehow it's been occupied. And then she says, yes, prophetess, yes, prophetess. Yeah, I bought land and now it's been seized by the military. You know, like, I'm like, all right. oh, okay, maybe, okay, maybe we're onto something. But you know, again, there were other different examples. Oh, you're a husband, and at some point she said that this lady has got problems with her husband, but the lady wasn't even wearing a ring finger. So, man, all right, so I go there, and you know, my relatives are singing and dancing, they're enjoying themselves. I'm sitting there thinking, gosh, you know, I really made a big mistake coming here. I should have actually just stayed at home and made up an excuse. Alright, okay, so at some stage, okay, everyone's praying and crying and everything, okay, and then people are fainting all over the place and she's prophesying. I'm thinking, where's the business advice? Where are the other women that were supposed to come here and actually give us tips, you know? Because, you know, I'm a businesswoman, I stopped working 2 years ago. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I got swindled into going to this mess, okay? So I'm sitting there, okay. I'm not singing out loud. I'm not raising my hands to the sky and worshiping, you know. Maybe occasionally, just out of respect, what I'll do is like I'll bow down and, you know, and pretend to be praying, you know. But I really wouldn't say anything, you know. Yeah, and then after, I'd say an eternity, like thousands of years, eventually she wraps up, okay. She wraps up this nonsensical roadshow, okay, and now the con comes along.